That being said, if you want to obsess over a cinnamon roll, who will also turn you into a cinnamon roll if you catch my drift, read Collide by Balcabra. Hey guys, what's up? It's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. And if you've come back, thank you so much. Welcome to Bookmas day number 11. For those who are following along, we are at the second last video, which is absolutely insane. Today, guys, I have brought the mic out for two reasons. One, I thought because we are doing a little awards ceremony, I thought it could be really cute. But second of all, if you do hear a bit of gross huskiness in my voice, I am just on the back end of COVID. So apologies for that. But I thought to save my voice and hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit clearer, we would use the microphone. I am so excited for today's video, you guys. I was thinking of something to do and I started seeing a bunch of people sort of like on my normal TikTok doing their like 2024, you know, the dating wrapped slideshows that they do and things like that. And then that like spiraled into this idea to do a video where I basically wrap up all of the new like book boyfriends that I met in this year. And then I thought we could give some little awards to my top 10. So not only is this going to be going through all of my statistics, but we are going to be going through my top 10 boys and giving them all some awards. So welcome officially to, I don't know if anyone else has done this, but to the 2024 Book Boyfriend Awards. I'm just so excited. I've got my books here. I've also made a little PowerPoint, so you guys will see the slides on the screen. Let me just show you. How cute. I can't wait. So I'm going to keep this on my lap or just to the left of me. And yeah, so guys, because we are having a nice little awards ceremony today, it's going to be a nice long one. So get comfy, get cozy, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get right on into the video. If you hear me munching on anything, has anybody had these like freeze-dried snow peas? They are so delicious. I cannot stop eating them. So if you hear me munching / if there's anything in my teeth, mind your business. Okay, you guys. So as I said, officially welcome to the 2024 Book Boyfriend Awards. I'm so excited for this. Let's go through a little bit of an introduction and some criteria first and foremost, okay? So basically, just to preface before we even get into this is going to be every new like book boyfriend that I was introduced to in 2024. And of course, I've included any rereads. So if you guys are like knowing me well and expecting to see other book boyfriends that I talk about that I didn't read about in this year, obviously they're not going to be included in this video. Like I said, just the books that I read this year with new book boyfriends or any rereads are the ones that are included. So, introduction. What is a book boyfriend? So this sort of ties into what I class as a book boyfriend. So I think we all know a book boyfriend is obviously usually a male main character in a romance book, say a fantasy book, whatever type of book you like, right? Usually they are the main male love interest. However, I actually class a book boyfriend as any male main character in a book or even a side character. So they do not necessarily have to be the main love interest. They can be the sidekick. They can be the best friend. They're anybody that you go like, yes, that is my man. That's a boyfriend to me, okay? Second of all, why book boyfriends matter. This one's like pretty self-explanatory, okay? Sometimes we're a bit lonely. Some of us single Pringles, okay? And sometimes, obviously, a lot of us read for escapism to fill the void. And along the way, we'll be, you know, collecting them like infinity stones, okay? They keep us comfy, they keep us cozy, and we just have to have an award ceremony to thank them, okay? And finally, book boyfriend criteria. I sort of already touched on this, like I said. For me, for this awards ceremony, it's all the men that I read about this year. They are new boyfriends or ones that I have reread about within 2024. They are basically any men who did not drive me insane or make me want to throw the book at the wall. They're ones that obviously I love, that I would see myself dating, and also they have to make me laugh. There's no men on this, in my top 10 at least, who did not make me laugh, because that's just my personal criteria, each to their own. So let's get into some statistics. In 2024, I have read so far, I'm filming this like midway through December, maybe. I've read 90 books. And of those 90 books, I have acquired 65 new book boyfriends, okay? These are the ones that I found enjoyable, notable, whatever, okay? Now, let's talk about the dates, okay? The dates that we went on, okay? So we've got 4 categories here, okay? We've got a full date, and a full date means that I read the book all the way through to its entirety. There was no sequel. I only had one full date with this man, okay? In that category, I had 53 full first dates with some book boyfriends, okay? The second category is second date, which means they are either a reoccurring character, background character, whatnot, or obviously there's like sequels, trilogies, series, whatever. We have, you know, I spent a lot of time with them in 2024, and that was a total of 9 book boyfriends. The third category is left halfway. We got up and left the restaurant halfway through the date, and that is for 2 books. Basically means I sort of got halfway through and I said, this man's not doing it for me, I'm done. And the last category is ghosted. Didn't even rock up, didn't answer the messages, like I was not there. I got a icky feeling before we even got there, and that is a DNF for me, and that was one that we just DNF'd without even reading like 3 or 4 pages in. I'm being so serious. I'm very sorry to that man. Here's a fun one. Now we have star signs. Now, before I even get into this, I just want to preface that yes, I will be talking about the star signs of these men. I did ask ChatGPT, I believe that's how you say it, okay? I asked ChatGPT for the ones that I did not know the star signs of. So if you see any that are incorrect, do not come for me. Okay. That being said, I love this, and I'm going to tell you some very interesting things. Okay, so as you guys can see on that little star sign chart there, okay, we had a top 3, okay? So in third place, we had Leo, okay? So a whopping 5 men in total were Leos. In second place, we had 6 Taurusans, and taking out the gold, we had 7 Scorpio men. Okay, 7 Scorpio men. I don't know what it is. Even in my real life, I'd be attracting Scorpios. Like, it's not funny. I think it's just a Leo thing. Anyways, then we have the occupations of these book boyfriends, okay? And there's a lot there. As you can see, I read a variety of different book boyfriend occupations this year. Taking out the bronze, we had a tie between ice hockey and chefs. We had a total of 8, but 4 of each. So 4 ice hockey players and 4 chefs. I don't know what it was this year. I was really into the sports romance and ice hockey, especially, like really like grip me. And chefs, surprisingly enough, I think there was one like month where I read maybe 2 or 3 chef like male main characters without even knowing that before I went into it, which was kind of funny. In second place, we had 5 leaders. So when I say leaders, this is usually like in your romantasy. So they could be a leader of a rebellion or a cause. They could maybe, if it's in a modern setting, like a team leader. This one's kind of broad, obviously. And then taking the top spot, is anybody surprised? I met 6 cowboys this year. 6 cowboy romances. That just happened to be the running theme. It really won. I mean, it was 1 extra than the leader, right? But I think you guys know I'm a small town cowboy romance girly. I love them very, very, very much. So this was sort of no surprise to me that the cowboy took the lead there. And our last little chart for statistics is tropes. Again, another one where we had a few ties. So coming in third place, we had a tie between small town and workplace. So we had 5 of each. Like I said, small town is just really, truly my bread and butter. I absolutely like devour them like it's not funny. And workplace gets me too. This year in particular have been a lot of like combination small town workplace romances, ironically. So we had a lot of men in the small town field. In second place, we had friends to lovers. Guys, I will shout this till the cows come home. Friends to lovers, specifically like childhood pre-established friends to lovers, is an elite trope for me. Like, especially the men, I don't know, they always fall harder. So I think I just love me a man that's a childhood friends to lovers. Anyways, and then taking out the gold, we had a tie between single dads and sports players, each having 8. Okay, like I said, I love a sports romance. We read a lot of different ones this year. I think we had a lot of like baseball players, basketball players, ice hockey players, soccer players. We had football players. We had a lot of sports players this year. And my favorite, biasly enough, is a single dad. I love me a single dad. You're going to see some potentially because, yeah, I don't know what it is about their single parent trope. They always get me. I always love those men. Alrighty, guys. Are we ready for the main event? It's time for the awards ceremony. I'm so excited, guys. As I was saying at the beginning of the video, I have got my top 10 book boyfriends, which was so hard to do. I have to say, you guys, it was like such a good year of book boyfriends. You all did a wonderful job, boys. But, you know, I do have my top 10. As I was saying, I have created some little awards. They're sort of like, you know, when you go to prom and they give out like the cheap cheekiest award or whatever, you know, the ones that they give out at prom and then they crown like a king and queen, whatever. I've sort of like created some for the top 10 book boyfriends. And then after we go through the awards, I'll be announcing my top 3, which was so hard. Award number 1 is the Ultimate Heartthrob Award, okay? So this is a man who is universally swoon worthy. When I was trying to think of who to give this to, I said, if I were to give this book to anybody with any sort of taste, any sort of genre, like which is the man that I think is the most palatable, who will make you swoon, who will be, like I said, universally loved. And funnily enough, I made a video on TikTok the other day about this certain man, and it was just like a tiny little audio clip from the audiobook from literally the first chapter. So it was not a spoiler. You guys know how I feel about spoiler audios. It was literally just a line of him like getting like making a joke about Tesla. And I posted that, and I can't believe the response it got, because I didn't realize how many people love this man, because I loved him so much. This book was a 5-star read. It is from a very, very, very popular release from this year. So I'm just so excited to announce the winner of the Ultimate Heartthrob Award. It is Mr. Weston Belmont from Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I love him so much, you guys. I instantly fell in love with him. As you guys can see there, I have created like a little profile on each of the guys, like a little bit of a dating profile. So Weston is 33 years old. He is a cowboy / single dad to 2 very, very, very beautiful young kids. Apparently he is a Taurus, which makes sense. And his love language is definitely physical touch. If you guys have not heard of Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver before, this is part of the Rosehill series. It is a small town romance series where each of our books follows a single parent. So this one here, as I said, we've got Weston, who is a single dad, and then we have Skylar, who is a very famous pop singer who ends up coming into this small town to start recording music of her own that's really authentic, because for her whole life, her parents have really controlled, you know, the type of music that she creates, and she's had enough. She wants to break free. So she ends up coming to this small town, and then she runs into Weston whilst trying to take a selfie with a bear. And it just gets really, really interesting from there. This guy here just absolutely loves his girl, and I think the biggest thing that I love about him that put him on this list. Also, just want to say that all these awards, by the way, is not the order. It's just like a general top 10. I haven't ranked them from like 10 to 1, except for the top 3, obviously. One of the things that I really love about West, and the reason why he's on this list, there's this sort of like reoccurring theme that Skylar says. I'm just going to give you a quote. It's not a spoiler, I promise. I have a really favorite thing with book boyfriends where absolutely love and adore them when they admire that their girlfriend or their wife or their partner, whatever the FMC, is strong and powerful on her own, and like that she doesn't need a man. It's my favorite thing. And this is a little quote that she says. She says, "There's a man who will do everything for you, and then there's a man who is secure enough to realize there are things you need to do for yourself, who steps back and revels in watching you soar. That is the man who is your biggest fan." And that just literally like encapsulates West so much. He is like grumpy, but the spice, guys, one of the spicy scenes in this is like on my Roman Empire. I was flicking through this yesterday, and I literally have a note that said, yep, that's going straight on the Roman Empire. It's such a great book, but he's just such a great man. He is maybe my new favorite Elsie Silver man. So if you have not read Wild Eyes yet by Elsie Silver, please do so, because you'll be very happy. Okay, so award number 2 is the Best Banter Award. So wittiest and most charming. This was really hard. I do love me like a golden retriever, funny character, male main character. If, like I said at the beginning of the video, if they can make me laugh, like immediately I'm like, yeah, I love you. Like I'm gonna get your name tattooed on my wrist. Like that's that's how I feel. So like finding and like choosing, I should say, the book boyfriend for this award was super hard, but I ended up choosing a book boyfriend who I just never stopped thinking about. I think I talk about him a lot, and he's not a book boyfriend in the conventional sense of him being the male main character. He is definitely a side character and a sidekick. He is very funny. I think he's like the main reason why I completed the back end of the series that he is from, because I actually think he is one of the most well-written comedic characters that I've I've ever read, because I think it's truly hard to write a comedic character who you also feel so deeply and like emotionally attached to as well. And like I said, that the humor feels authentic. So I love him so much. He really like made the series for me. And when I hold this series up, I don't want to hear anything about the male main character, like the main male main character, because I love him too, but I just love him a tiny bit more. So this year's winner of the Best Banter Award is Kenji Kishimoto from the Shadow Me series, which is so like strange to me, but I love this guy so much. So let's go through his profile. Kenji is 20 years old when we start the series. I don't really know where he gets to at the end of it. He is a soldier. He's also a Virgo, which just makes so much sense because Virgo men are just like super like opinionated and goofy and like funny. Yeah, anyways. And then his love language is definitely quality time, not only with like his particular love interest, but I think just also with the people that he cares about. He loves having quality time with anybody that he's involved with. I won't tell you anything because obviously I don't want to sort of spoil it. If you guys haven't read the Shadow Me series, this is a dystopian young adult series that I ended up picking up this year because I had the first one on my shelf for years. Like I'd had it, like I said, since the time maybe I had Divergent and Hunger Games, like all those years ago. I'd had it sitting on my shelf and I was just like doing a 24-hour reading challenge, and I put this in my TBR and I read it in 3 hours. Immediately like was so addicted to the series, but also like from the moment I met Kenji in the first book, like I said, he is a side character. He is not the main male love interest in this series, but he is like I said, he's a soldier. He is the best friend of our female main character, and he is just every single light in the room. He's every laugh, every smile. I love him so much. I just think about him all the time. He also just cares so deeply about everybody around him, and he makes me laugh. And the reason that I've actually given him this award for the best banter is the banter that he has with another male character in this series, especially in the back end, is a highlight of my life. Like I could have a whole book just about the two of them, like having their little frenemies. They're not really frenemies, but you know, like they don't want to like each other, but they are literally best friends. Like it's so funny. Yeah, he's my favorite. I often say that I just want to like pick him up and put him in my pocket. Yeah, he just says some really, really, really cute things. So that's my little favorite funny boy. And yeah, we'll always love him. Okay, so award number 3 is the Cinnamon Roll Award. This is for our most lovable book boyfriend of the year. This again, like I said, I read a lot of sort of Golden Retrievers, Reverse Grumpy Sunshine romances this year. So there were a lot of book boyfriends contending for this award. So like I said, this book boyfriend had to be like the most lovable, the sweetest, like walking sunshine, but like is definitely that Golden Retriever puppy type of lover. Definitely like an acts of service, MMC. I think they're definitely like cinnamon rolls. I don't know what it is. This is not like going to be a grumpy guy that Loki has a soft side. Like this is a softy and just dotes on his girl so much. So I ended up choosing a book boyfriend who is from a sports romance series, a college sports romance series. And I always think about some of the stuff that he does for his girl. And he's just the sweetest. And the way that he talks about her, I wish I could just like tell you all of the quotes. So the winner of the Cinnamon Roll Award is Aiden Crawford from Collide by Belle Cabra. Like I said, this is a sports romance. It is an ice hockey romance as well. So I'll give you his little profile. So Aiden is in his early 20s. I couldn't find his exact age, okay? He's an ice hockey player. As I said, he is an Aries, apparently. And his love language, as I said, is definitely acts of service. Every time I talk about this book, I always say it is like Icebreaker's hotter older sister. If you read Icebreaker and you weren't a fan of it, I actually think that this is better. It is just so much more mature and just like, I don't know, I loved it. I recommended it to so many of my friends, and one of my besties in real life, Lucy, read this and she was like screaming at me down the phone as well. So yeah, this basically follows Aiden and Summer. They are both like thrown into this situation where they have to work on a paper that Summer is writing. Aiden's coach sort of like forces him to do it as a punishment for something that I can't tell you, and they end up sort of working together on the paper because she's training to be a sports psychologist, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, and they end up obviously spending quite a bit of time together. Now this guy here, like quite literally, is so charming from the very first page, but like some of the things he does, like I said, he's so acts of servicey. Like she loves chai tea and he learns the exact way, time, color, like to steep her chai tea so that it is perfect every single time she has it. I'm pretty sure he like orders her a special one because she's been like rationing the one that she has because she thinks they don't make it anymore, and he like orders it for her, and it is just so stinking cute. But also the way that he just like speaks about her. I'm going to give you a small quote. It's not a spoiler at all. all, he says, Summer's presence is luminescent. She is the last fragment of sunlight in the overwhelming darkness. Like, that is just how he always speaks of her. Like, you know, walk him like a dog. Like, that's what this book is. He's my cinnamon roll of 2024. So, award number 4 is the Bad Boy with the Heart of Gold award. So this is edgy, but secretly soft. Now, when I was doing this one, I knew this had to be a boy who like had a bad reputation. Like everybody knew him to be like a bit of a player or a playboy, or maybe he is just like a sort of bad-ish character, but truly like deep down, he, you know, has a heart of gold and is secretly the sweetest person on the face of the earth. So I thought a lot and I thought a lot and I thought a lot. There was really only one man for the job because I think about this man on the daily. He is another small town romance character. However, he is a little bit of a hybrid, right? He is sort of like a cowboy. However, he's also an ice hockey player, and this is, again, I think this is a brother's best friend dynamic too. Well, for him it will be a best friend's little sister. So the recipient of the Bad Boy with a Heart of Gold award is Nash Carter from Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. So let's go through his little profile. Nash is 29 years old. As I said, he's an ex-ice hockey player. He is a Capricorn, which we didn't really have too many of these, funnily enough, and his love language is 1000% words of affirmation. So as I was sort of saying in his little intro there, Nash is an ex-ice hockey player, but he's also sort of a cowboy. So he comes back to his small town after he retires from playing, and he decides to open up this like rec center where all of the kids in this small town can learn to, you know, play, which is really, really, really awesome. Then we have Cece Ashby, who is basically his, like I said, his best friend's little sister. She's just come back into town too after coming out of like literally the worst relationship ever that's consumed like most of her adult life. The two of them reconnect, and she's sort of sworn off guys because, you know, the guy that she's just been with is a terrible person. Nash has got a pretty bad reputation for being a player as well, and he is determined to prove her wrong and say, I am not that guy. I am not who I used to be. Cece's looking for a job. Nash ends up hiring her at his center to do the accounting, and the story goes from there. It is a will they, won't they? Will she let the bad boy get into her heart? I was going to say another word, but I hate that word. This man is obsessed with her. Like, some of the things that he says about her is crazy. I like honestly think he's like my favorite small town romance hero or like man ever that I've read about so far. There was just something so different and refreshing about him. The fact that he is just like obsessed with her from day dot. A lot of like small town romance characters are not, and it was just super special. So guys, I gotta go. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so sorry. I had to like go and empty my SD card because apparently I only had 1 minute left of storage. I must have been filming so much and just forgot to empty my SD card. Yes, Nash Carter, I think we were talking about him. Did not mention this, but the very last spicy scene in this book, if you've read it, you know, it's like, I need to look at it. This is crazy, you guys. This is crazy. Also, just want to let you guys know I've never given a small town romance book 4 chili spices. But this one and its next one, its sister, got the same. Just get onto it, please. Guys, my hair today is just like not lasting. So if it looks ratty, Hermione Granger, you know why. Okay, award number 5 is the Most Romantic Gesture Award. So this MMC went all out in the name of love, okay? And look, like I said, I read a lot of romance each year. There's a lot of beautiful little grand gestures. And the male main character that I decided to give this award to has done a gesture that is not in the physical sense. So I know a lot of us will think like physical, like, you know, romantic gesture. They give them something, they buy them something, they do something for them. Like that could be considered a romantic gesture. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong for this one, but I actually think that like this is the most beautiful romantic gesture, and I just like love this guy so much for it, I should say. We have a running theme, as I said to you guys. We read a lot of cowboys. We also read a lot of sports players. So the next man, I have the biggest smile on my face when I talk about him, and I am obsessed with him. If that doesn't give you a clue, I don't know what will. This is another sports player. This is a baseball player, and he is so cheeky. I am obsessed with him. I've been obsessed with him since I read the book before his because I knew it was coming. My gingerbread man just lost the top of his hat. The the winner of the Most Romantic Gesture Award goes to Mr. Isaiah Rhodes from Play Along by Liz Tomford. Guys, I'm obsessed with this book. I'm obsessed with this man. Ever since I read it in August, I read it like in a day and I never stopped thinking about him. So Isaiah Rhodes is 28 years old. As I said, he is a baseball player. He is a Leo like yours truly, and it just makes so much sense. And his love language is definitely acts of service. He has a few, but I think like mainly acts of service is definitely his little schmick. So if you guys are familiar with the Windy City series, you can actually read these out of order. They are interconnected standalones. However, the most recent 2 books have brothers as like the main male characters. So Caught Up is the one before this. This follows Kai Rhodes, who is the brother of Isaiah Rhodes. So each book is like their own little individual love story, okay? So we meet Isaiah in Caught Up, and he is just this cheeky, larger-than-life little prankster, little jokester, okay? He is a ladies' man, womanizer, and he has been absolutely obsessed with the athletic trainer on his team. Her name is Kennedy, for years. However, Kennedy has been engaged to a different man and is sort of off limits until one day she's not anymore. The team sort of start their season off, like just before they start, at a boys' like bonding trip in Vegas. And basically they're at this club and Isaiah somehow runs into Kennedy. He's like, "What are you doing in Vegas?" She goes, "Oh, well, funny story that I'm on a bachelorette party with my stepsister who is now getting married to the man that I was engaged to." So it's a super awkward, uncomfortable situation. Isaiah says, "Stuff that, let's get out of here." They end up having one too many drinks together and end up at a chapel. And you can sort of guess what happens in Vegas. Does not stay in Vegas. And this turns into a marriage of convenience. Isaiah Rhodes, the man that you are. I'm going to tell you guys the romantic gesture that he does. Now, this is not a spoiler by any means. However, I know that myself and a lot of people can be touchy, so I will put a timestamp on the screen if you do not want to hear the gesture, I guess, that Isaiah does. It is so minor and minuscule, so it will not ruin the course of the book if you choose to read it, but I know a lot of people do not like spoilers. As I said, final warning, I'm going to tell you guys this very sweet gesture. So Isaiah is actually colorblind, okay? And there's a very sweet moment at the beginning of this book here where they're having like a talk about something. He ends up telling her that he's colorblind, and it's a certain type called protanopia. Protanopia, I hope I'm saying that correctly. And he ends up saying that it's not all colors, but he has trouble seeing greens and reds. And Kennedy has very, very, very fiery, bright red hair. He said anytime he sees reds, he actually sees green, if that makes sense. He said the day that they met, he couldn't figure out what color her hair was. So he asked one of his teammates what the color of her hair was and for him to perfectly describe it to him so that he could always remember that exact shade of red of her hair. And he says, "There is nothing else that has ever been Kennedy K. Auburn." And I just like squealed my head off. I just think that is so beautiful. All of the men in the Windy City series have these beautiful romantic gestures, but I think what I love about this is it's an act of like almost like silent love. Like he loves her so much that he wanted to know, and he says to her like, "Nothing else has ever been that exact shade of your hair. That is the shade of your hair, and that is it. Nothing compares." So it's beautiful. Anyways, Isaiah Rhodes, I love you, sir, and you definitely deserve the Romantic Gesture Award. All right, award number 6 is the Grumpy Sunshine King Award. So we have the reluctant hero who falls hard for his girl. So we all love a grumpy grump. I think it's like the best thing ever. We all love it when you've got a really stoic, hard man at the beginning of the book who just like can't stand being around the love interest, thinks she's super like annoying, like he's the bane of his existence sort of thing. And then when he falls hard, and it is just beautiful and amazing. And of course, there's many contenders for this year, but this is actually going to a man who I read about last month. It was my most recent 5-star read, and I absolutely am a sucker for the type of man that he is, and I will tell you when I get into it, but it's always these men that fall hard and fall the hardest. So the winner of the Grumpy Sunshine King Award for 2024 is going to Jamie Hayes from Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth. So if you guys haven't heard me talking about this book yet, please read it because not enough people have, and it's going to change your life. This is a romance between a beauty pageant queen and her bodyguard. So of course, Jamie is the bodyguard, okay? Jamie is 31, his occupation, a bodyguard. And as I was saying in the intro, a bodyguard is always the most like tough exterior, like can't get distracted by anything, is all about the job, can't get involved with the girl. It's so good. He is a Libra and his love language is acts of service / gift giving. He also does a very sweet thing in this book where like she has lactose intolerance and can't have any ice cream. So he literally like makes fun of her about it, going like, why don't you eat ice cream ever? You know, you can have dessert. And she's like, no, but like I can't have it. I'm lactose intolerant. So he feels so bad. He goes to the shops and he brings back ice cream sandwiches, gelatos, ice creams, whatever, like all these different types of ice creams that she can have that are all dairy free because he feels so bad. A simp. I love a simp man. Anyways, guys, like I said, this book follows Jamie and Ava. So Ava one night, like she's chatting with her friends and her friends are like, gosh, they both got these small businesses, I should say. They're like, gosh, it's so hard to break into like the mainstream with a small business. You know, only if we knew like an influencer who would, you know, endorse our business, you know, it would grow so exponentially. And Ava's like, yeah, you're so right. So you know what she does? She just decides to put in an application for the Miss Americana beauty pageant. She doesn't really think she's going to get, you know, past more than a couple of rounds, but she goes, you know, if I do get on there, I can talk about the girls' businesses and it'll be a win-win, which is funny because Ava does end up winning the entire pageant. And when she does, she's signed into a contract where she has to do like a full press tour of the United States for 3 months, and she needs a bodyguard because she's obviously very high profile now and very famous. So she ends up getting assigned to Jamie, and Jamie is like hard, tough as nails, can't actually stand her because they meet each other at the beginning of the book, and you'll see that when you read it. He just thinks she is the most sunshine, over the top, stuck up, snooty little princess, pageant princess, and it is so delicious, you guys. If you guys love Reese Larson from Twisted Games, this is like same canvas, different paint, but he's so much funnier. Like, love Reese so much. You guys know I'm a Reese Larson protector, but you will love this man. The next award that I have is the Best Redemption Arc Award. So he either grew or redeemed himself. Why did I write it like that? A redemption arc is definitely a character who, you know, you think when you start the book, you're like, I can't stand this guy. There's no way he's the main love interest or a side character or whatever. And then this usually happens in a series or a duology, and the character ends up redeeming themselves. So when I was thinking about this, I went, ooh, like, I was going to give it to a... I was going to make like a funny little slide and just put like, I can't say his name, but you guys know the one from... I was going to put him as a joke, and then you guys were going to be like, are you kidding me? Anyways, I didn't do that, okay? I chose somebody who I actually love with my entire heart and soul. This is a male main character who is a little bit more paranormal. He is a vampire and he's a redhead, which I just did not think I would be falling for in 2024. But you know what? The winner of the Redemption Arc Award for 2024 is Rain Ashraj from The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is such a big surprise for me. A, that I like this book, and B, that I am obsessed with this man. Like, this man treats his woman like a queen. Okay, so let's go through his little profile. Rain is over 500. All of these romanticy guys are. I can't tell you the exact age. He's a vampire, okay? He's a vampire. He's a Scorpio, which makes so much sense. And his love language is definitely quality time. So for those who haven't heard of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, please read it if you love romanticy, because the romance in this is delicious, okay? So you're following Araya, who is our female main character, and she has basically been raised her entire lives with the vampires. She's a human because the king of the vampires, I think his name's Vincent, he like rescued her when she was quite young, and he's been raising her as his own in the vampire realm and has sort of been training her whole life to compete in this tournament called the Kajari, which it's like all of these vampires sort of like all compete, sort of like Hunger Games style. They compete together for like one lone victor, and then this like god will give the winner one wish, okay? And he's been training her whole life, like I said, so that she can win the tournament and ask to be turned into a vampire without like the complications of like physically doing it, you know, like physically being bitten or whatever. Anyway, so she joins this tournament and she ends up meeting Rain, and this man, you guys, crazy, because he's so hot and he's so sexy. And the reason I say redemption arc is because, as I said, this is a duology. So the first one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and the second one is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I won't tell you what happened, but let's just say throughout the course of the two books, Rain does something and is in need of redemption. I'm talking about hardcore redemption. I was mad at this man. I fell to the ground, was on my knees. This is a man. And if you guys haven't read this book and you love, you know, your classic staple romanticities, you are missing out, because I'm never getting enough of this man. The next award I have is the Dark and Brooding Award, okay? So this is an emotionally tortured man, but we still love him. I just like realized when I was doing this year that I did not read enough like dark romance, and I love dark romance so much. I just didn't, which is sad because it's usually my bread and butter. So when I first made this award, I thought, oh, I'm going to give this to someone from dark romance. And then I said, I've read one dark romance this year, and that man was not it. I said, no, we've got to think. And then I said, oh, I know who. Romantasy again. I'm very sorry. Romantasy again. I'm not sorry because you know what? This genre really like took hold of me this year. This man is a dark, brooding man, and if you've read the book, you know. If you haven't read it, get onto it because it's now going to be made into a film, and it's so good, and it's just been traditionally published. So I'm just going to tell you who it is. The recipient of the Dark and Brooding Award for 2024 has a ridiculous name, but I love him anyways. It is Kingfisher from Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Look at the photo of that man. Look at his eyes. Oh my lord. Okay, so this is Kingfisher. Age is ancient. Ancient, because I could not tell you how old he is. It's not even mentioned. I asked ChatGPT. No one can tell me how old he is, so I just said ancient. Okay, he's a god, and that's why he's ancient. He's also a Scorpio. It's a running theme with these men in romantasies. They're Scorpions, and you know, it's just, there's red flags, but I'm walking around with a blindfold on, you know, like someone might take it off my head and my eyes are still closed, you know? And his love language is physical touch / quality time. Kingfisher is from Quicksilver, as I said. So this is a romantasy series where you are following Ceres Fane. She's part of this like human world, but it's like post-apocalyptic sort of, maybe. Desert style, where it's all, I'm not going to say post-apocalyptic. That's just not true. It's like a desert style world. She is a human. It's ruled by this terrible queen. And basically there's a lot of poverty, and Ceres has been like stealing food and water for her brother and her to survive, basically. And one day while she's doing this, she gets captured by the guard and like brought in to the queen and her castle. The queen locks her up, puts her in like a jail cell. And while she's in this castle, Ceres accidentally like opens up a portal to another dimension. From this portal walks out Kingfisher, Hottie McHotpants, also known as Death himself. He pulls her through and into the world of Fae. And Ceres says, girl, there has not been Fae for over, I don't even know how many years. He said, bestie, let me show you the world. You know what I mean? That's not... Look at him. Wow. Sorry, I just have to have a quick shout out. The people who like do fan art for like the fantasies, I just want to give you the biggest hug because wow, look at that man. That's exactly how I pictured him. He's so sexy. He is so dark and brooding, and like at the beginning you can't stand him because obviously he just does not care about Ceres at all, and it's so delicious. Oh, I didn't finish telling you the synopsis. Because he brought her through to the fairy realm, saved her life, sort of, they accidentally like bind themselves to each other, and now she owes him something, and that's it. This is like an earth-shattering romance as well, but like this man, so dark and mysterious. And hello, his name is literally like the god of death. I know the Kingfisher. I want to know whose idea it was. That's my man. Award number 9 is the Ultimate Protector Award. Will do anything for those they love. Yeah, there's another one that was super, super hard, but I thought about it and I said nobody else is protecting their love interest like this man. Nobody's doing it like him. This is the blueprint. Look at my grin. Stop it. Okay, so I'm not even gonna tell you about it because I just want to show you who it is. Okay, so the winner of the Ultimate Protector Award 2024 is... I wish I had like some cool background music to introduce him because I just love... It's Daddy Reese. Reese Sand from the Akatar series, okay? This is so straightforward. When I made this award, I was like, yeah, he's winning it. No one's protecting the love interest like him, okay? So Reese Sand is at least 500 years old again. I had to put it in there because no one knows how old he is, okay? Occupation, High Lord of the Night Court. I will also take Shadow Daddy, okay? He's an Aquarius, which honestly, out of all of like the star signs, when I was like writing down every single book boyfriend, by the way, I did that. Every single book boyfriend, the 64, when I got to him and the internet told me that he was an Aquarian, I said, yes, this just makes the most sense. Out of any star sign of any of the men, he is like the truest of true Aquarians. And his love language is quality time and physical touch. And if you've read this book, you'll understand the quality time joke. I can't really tell you too much about what this is about or who Reese is because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who has not read the series before, but this man is the protector. He is like will do anything for the love of his life, you know what I mean? So again, can't really say too much about him. Just know that if I was in trouble, I would call him. I don't know if he would come though because, oh my god, no. Cut the cameras. All right, now lucky last award before we unveil the top 3 of the year is the most underrated book boyfriend award, a hidden gem. This always sort of happens every year where I sort of go, okay, I got like my top 10 or my top 5, like who is the most underrated? Like who is a book boyfriend that I just don't see get enough love, or is just like a bit of like an unpopular opinion sort of book boyfriend? I looked at my shelves and I went, oh, it's him. It's him. Because there's another one that I've given to my friends in real life again, and they have just loved him. We have another cowboy, another small town man, and we do have another golden retriever, reverse grumpy sunshine sort of dynamic too. So the winner of the most underrated book boyfriend award goes to Wes Ryder from Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. Honestly, you guys, I've said this a few times. I might have even said it on my TikTok. I actually think that Swift and Saddled is the best book in this series so far. I'm not saying that they're like my favorite characters, because Teddy and Gus like might be my favorite characters, but this is my favorite book and favorite couple so far. But let me get into his profile. So Wes is 32. He's a cowboy / rancher. He's a Sagittarius, which is very interesting as well. And the love language is acts of service. So for those who haven't heard of this follows Wes and Ada, as I said. So Ada is an interior designer, and she has just gotten a new job working on this ranch out in the middle of this town, Rebel Blue Ranch. The night before she's supposed to start her job, she's driving into town and she is like hungry. She wants somewhere to eat. She ends up going to this little bar. She ends up meeting a cowboy. They have a smooch. And the next day when she rocks up on the ranch, it's her new boss, Wes. This man right here. He's such a sweetheart. I just think he's severely underrated, like as a character. He is just like the sweetest man. He like still ticks all the boxes of your small town men, but I just don't see enough people talking about him. And I just want to share a little quote that he says, because when I remembered that he said this, I kind of lost my mind. Again, if you don't want a quote spoiler, I will put a time jump, but it is not a spoiler to the plot whatsoever. However, here is your warning, final warning. They are having a little argument. And she says, like, I'm not the woman for you. Like, once I leave, you'll realize that you'll find her, someone as warm and bright as you. And he says, you say you're not nice or warm or bright or any of these stupid words that people use to describe the sun, but I never asked you to be the sun. I would rather have the moon anyways. Oh my God. That is so sweet. And that's what I'm saying. This man is so underrated. I think that's one of the best quotes that I've read this year. So please pick that series up if you haven't already. It's sweet. Guys, that's all the awards. Let's get into the top 3. Okay, guys, it is time for our top 3. This was like so difficult, but also not at all. So I've done like a bronze, silver, and a gold. So let's just get into it. Okay, so coming in our bronze spot, where is he? Is Isaiah Rhodes from Play Along. Like I said to you guys, from the moment and the instant that I met this man, I was just completely obsessed with him. So funnily enough, if you read this book, there is like a playlist, but a lot of the songs that are mentioned in the book are like in the playlist, right? And Isaiah, because he's a baseball player, when they do like the little walkout, when they start a game, they get to pick a song. And he's as obsessed by Mariah Carey, and I became so obsessed with him that I listened to that so much that it ended up in my Spotify Wrapped this year. Truly, like I said, think he's one of the best male main characters. Like when I think about this year as a whole, he is a highlight. This book is a highlight. It's definitely in my top 10 of the year, and it is just like, I don't know, I wish I had a man like him. From like the moment I started reading this book, from page 1, even like I said, like the book before, I just wanted to like spend every second with him, and he made me laugh and he made me swoon and kick my feet. And like I said, because this is a marriage of convenience, you guys know I love a my wife, and it's just it's always in this. So Mr. Isaiah taking home the bronze. And taking out the top 2 in silver, our second best book boyfriend of 2024 was Nash Carter from Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. The biggest sort of takeaway and driving thing from me here is like, this man was like obsessed with the girl from day dot, and the way that he spoke about her, like not even just to her, but like his internal dialogue and monologue about the FMC is so swoon worthy. It's not funny. And like I said, that final spicy scene, crazy. I have said that he is my new favorite small town romance MMC. There was just something else about him in the waters, and I think about him on the daily. I also, like I said, just love that he is like a bit of a hybrid too. So Nash, my man, you are getting the silver. So for number 1, this was like kind of a no-brainer. If you guys follow me on TikTok and you saw halfway through the year, I did like my top 10 boyfriends from like the half yearly point. He was my number one then. He is one of the very first boys that I read about this year, one of the first books that I read this year, I should say. And still to this day, he is definitely taking home the gold. It was again sort of a no-brainer. I want to like have some music to introduce him again because I just love him. So the number one book boyfriend of the year is the High Lord of the Night Court, Mr. Rhysand, Daddy Rhysand. Like I said, have never read a romance like this before in my life. Earth-shattering, and this man, like when I think about some of the stuff that he does, it's insane. Like I could cry about it. It's not funny. And then just like, I'm just gonna say patience. The reason I love this man is patience. And it's like, wow, long patience. And I can't tell you why, but you guys will get it. If you've read it, you get it, you get it, you get it. Really funny to me that a romantic male main character is my top book boyfriend of this year. If you'd asked Belle from last year, I think my top book boyfriend last year was Zaid from Haunting Adeline, because I love Zaddy. Hello. Yeah, I'm looking at his cute little grin. Again, props to whoever does the fan art. It's just so on point and makes me kick my feet. I just love it. So that is my top boyfriend, and that is the end of our book boyfriend awards for 2024. Alrighty, you guys, that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for sticking through all the way to the end. If you did, I really, really appreciate it. Who are your top 10 book boyfriends of 2024? I would love to know, or even your top 3 if you want to narrow it down even further. I thought this was a super fun way to sort of start the wrap-up videos, because obviously in the next few weeks, because we are in the back end of December now, we are going to do like, top 10 books of the year, the reading tag, the, end of year book tag, and then of course going through like every single book that I read this year. So I thought this would be a fun little addition to that by doing wrapping up the boyfriends, because it's always so hard to keep track of them. As always, you guys, if you aren't already, you are more than welcome to follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. I'll leave my handles on the screen and in the description box. And if you'd like to, you can like this video and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you are hitting the notification bell. That way you're notified each time a brand new video goes up, because tomorrow, you guys, is the 12th and final day of Bookmas, which is so insane to sort of see that come to an end. As I sort of said earlier, you guys, we've been doing this for the last 12 days. So if you'd like to go check those out, there is a playlist on my channel page, and you can go through and have a look at all of those. We've had a lot of fun together, and tomorrow I thought we'd wrap it up with a nice little Christmas book tag, nice cozy video sitting down in front of my shelves at nighttime. So I'm so excited for you guys to see that. Thanks so much for stopping by again. I really, really appreciate it. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a lovely day or a lovely night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.